Have you ever just been fed up? It's your last straw. You just can't believe that somebody said or did something one more time when you begged them not to, and you said, I'm fed up. Well, it's kind of strange to hear God say that through Isaiah. He's fed up with people's fasting because the fasting they did was just fasting. Fasting should change our heart. It should make us contrite and humble, like the psalm says. It should make us appreciate things more. Like I was suggesting on Ash Wednesday, if you don't eat chocolate or smoke or have your daily beer or whatever, and then you hate it, then you're miserable. I had a priest friend, he loves wine now, but it was always in Lent, he'd give up beer. He did this even from shortly after ordination. But he'd always complain about it. I hate Lent. I want a beer so bad, I can't stand this. And I used to say to him, please have a beer. Here, I'll buy you two. Please have one. Because he drove me crazy with his complaining about Lent. Just drink one, for God's sake. God doesn't want us miserable. He just doesn't. He wants us contrite and humble and open-hearted. And then listen to what he says today after he says, I don't like your fasting. I'm fed up with your fasting. You fight and quarrel at the end of the day. You're miserable. You're not doing good for others. You're not following me when you fast. You end up miserable. But then he says this, you know the kind of fasting I'd like? He doesn't say exactly these words, but he implies, first of all, it's not about not eating food. No, the kind of fasting I like is, let me get it right here. This, rather, is the fasting that I wish, releasing those bound unjustly, untying the thongs of the yoke, setting free the oppressed, breaking every yoke, sharing your bread with the hungry, sheltering the oppressed and the homeless, clothing the naked when you see them, and not turning your back on your own. That's the kind of fasting God wishes for us. Now, does this mean you shouldn't fast during Lent? No, I'm not saying that. It's a good practice. But if we do it, we should do it in a way that it makes our heart be more loving. Or make us, for example, if we go without some food and feel uncomfortable, or if we don't eat meat on Friday, think of the homeless who don't eat at all on Friday maybe. And then our hearts are being opened up to be more like God and to follow God more deeply in our life. Now, this gospel, it's kind of an odd thing that Jesus says, I think, and I'm sure they didn't understand it. I'm not sure I understand it. The Pharisees and the elders of the church were always after the synagogue, were after Jesus and criticizing him and his disciples. So they started again. Why don't your disciples fast like all the rest of us do? What's wrong? They're supposed to fast. Why don't they do it? And then Jesus compares himself to a bridegroom and a wedding feast. He says, when the bridegroom is here and the wedding is going on, you don't fast, you feast. You feast. So I'm here with them now and they're feasting. That's okay. Leave them alone. But then he says, when the bridegroom is taken away from them, then they will fast. And that's, of course, what he's talking about. When they would take him away and kill him. Then they would fast because they would be so sorrowful. But it's kind of, not too little too late, but kind of strange that they won't fast and follow all of the rules of the synagogue and of the book of Moses and Deuteronomy, but they will fast when he is taken from them. It shouldn't take this. We should be able to fast or do any of our religious practices just because of love. Just because of love. And so today, as we enter early into Lent, in fact, this week we call it Thursday after Ash Wednesday, and Friday after Ash Wednesday, and Saturday after Ash Wednesday. And then we begin with the first Sunday of Lent and the days of Lent fully. Whatever we do in this Lent, to make Lent special for us, each one of us this year, whatever we do, let's do it so that we are opening our hearts to God's love in a deeper way. And let's arrive at that cross on Good Friday with our hearts absolutely connected with Christ and feel the passion with Him. And hear those words spoken, which we'll say on Sunday, Father, forgive them all, they know not what they do, and find out just where Jesus will take us during this Lenten season.